All right, well, we've reached a point in time where we can do our video generation with the images that we've essentially retrieved by using Leonardo AI. So what we're going to do is take those images and create video clips using Luma Labs Dream Machine. So Luma Labs, they released this app called Dream Machine, this program. It's very powerful. What it can do is basically take images and bring them to life, meaning add movements to them, basically add video features to an image. So this is really cool, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this right now. So the first thing you want to do is click on Try Now once you've arrived to the Dream Machine site, and I'll obviously provide the link to this. So we're going to go ahead and click on Try Now. Once you click on Try Now, it's going to have you log in. You can log in simply with your Google or email. So as soon as I log in, I see the prompt box right here, and you can basically add text or an image, or you can do both. In our case, we're going to do both because what we're going to do is attach an image and then prompt what we want to do with that image. Now, there is a prompt guide here that you can refer to. So if you click on it, basically what it will do is it will give you some examples on how to prompt. Now, it's pretty similar to ChatGPT if you've used that. And basically with ChatGPT, you want to make sure that your prompts are accurate, they're concise, they're specific enough, they have the right amount of details and so on. So here are some tips on how to prompt with Dream Machine. So the first thing you want to do is be specific. So describe the main subject, setting, key elements, and so on. For instance, here's an example to reference. For example, a beach setting, sunset, waves. It's gently crashing on the shore. You have seagulls flying in the sky. So it's specific enough, but it's still concise. The next thing is you want to include enough details. So for instance, mention particular details important for the video that you're seeking to generate. For instance, here, an example is the beach has golden sand and a few palm trees. And then it talks about how the sky is painted certain colors, right? Focus on emotions or atmosphere. So you can describe the mood or atmosphere, right? These are all things that help the AI model generate the video that you desire. For instance, if you say something like the video should feel peaceful and calming, you're providing an emotional element to the AI model, which it can utilize to implement your video. You can use simple language as well. That's one of the things recommended. So avoid complex words. Just keep it straight to the point because remember, AI models are still work in progress. They're still in development. So those are just some basic tips to follow. Let's go ahead and go back. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with scene one. As you recall, scene one is where we have our first character, the main character, Leo, adventuring off into a forest for exploration, to explore. What we're going to do is generate a couple of small videos with images that we've collected. Now, we'll start with scene one and then move on to other scenes. We're going to spend a little time on doing this so that I can provide guidance on how you want to do this properly and ultimately for the best interest of your final video. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first line here says, in a small village, a young man named Leo dreamed of adventure. So this is the narrator speaking. We're just going to start with this. Now, the way I'm going about with my video, my final video, is I actually want to include a couple of clips for longer sentences like this or for longer statements like this. So here you have 3 sentences, right? So for this part, I want to include several options. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and implement that. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this first line that the narrator spoke, and then I'm going to attach an image over the words in the prompt. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this right now. So let's go ahead and go to Dream Machine. Now I'm just going to paste this in here for now. I'll refer back to this in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the images that we've generated. I'll go to scene 1, and the one that I'm looking to initiate with is right here. So I just want to give this image some life. So we'll actually start with this right here first, and then we'll move on to the narrator who speaks next. So in this case, what I'm going to say is calm and peaceful. So we're going to go ahead and just start with a very simple prompt for our first scene. So in this case, we're going to go to scene 1, and then I'm going to click on 1.1, which is just an image of the village. And then again, I want just a calm and peace setting of the village. That's it. So you can choose an enhanced prompt feature here if you want it to enhance the prompt for you. However, that's completely optional. You can also loop, but that's not necessary for this case. So let's go ahead and generate our very first scene. Now, when you generate any video using an image, it does fall into the queue. So basically, what it's doing is it goes into the Dream Machine server, and then the Dream Machine server is working in the background. Now, because we're on a free account, it basically goes into the queue, and the server basically puts you in a line. So think of it as you're standing in line, and it's going to go ahead and dream it or generate it. So you're going to want to give that some time. I find that the best time to do this, if you're in Eastern Standard Time, for instance, you're going to want to do this late at night. Depends where you are in the world, but you just got to kind of shoot your luck. In any case, if you wanted to get a paid subscription, it will move a lot faster. But again, I always advocate for free resources. So that was actually pretty quick. It's already done. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, beautiful. So this is amazing. We're going to start off with something like this, a calm and peaceful setting of the village. Now, if we wanted to, we can add like birds around or something like that, but I think this is fine for what we're trying to do. So we're going to go ahead with this, and you can download it when you're ready if you feel like it's good enough, if it's what you want. If we run it right now as an MP4, you'll see that it runs perfectly. And this is just beautiful. The quality is great. So you will have this Luma watermark at the top there, but that is something that we can easily remove. So don't worry about that. I'll show you how to remove the watermark later on. Okay, so now we're going to continue on with the next part of the scene. So in this case, we're going to take what the narrator stated, and the narrator says, in a small village, a young man named Leo dreamed of adventure. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my next image, and I'm going to click on 1.1. I'm just going to show you which image I'm going for. That's the one where the narrator is basically behind the village scene. So I'm going to say the narrator in the image says, okay, and we're going to try this out. So I haven't tried a situation where a narrator speaks and I put it in quotes, but let's see what happens when we do this. Now, it may not be perfect, but we're going to go ahead and shoot our shot and see what it generates. Now, one of the things we're aiming for is lip syncing. What that means is we want the text in the video script to match what the person is saying in the video, whatever character we choose, including the narrator. So that's a little bit of a challenge to get off the bat using a program like Dream Machine. So we may have to use an additional program to lip sync, which I'll introduce later on in the course. But for now, let's allow this to finish its queuing. Oh, and there we go. That was pretty fast. So here we have, I don't like this one, and it's good that we look at an example that doesn't work. So here he's actually moving away. That's not good. So I'm going to revise this. It's an iterative process. So you want to see what works and what doesn't. So we're definitely going to need to regenerate this. Okay, so I actually don't like it. I'm going to delete it. I'll try again. And this time I'm going to grab that same one. In this case, I'm going to say the character stands still and speaks and moves his lips. That's it. So that's sufficient. Let's see if that works for us because I don't want him to move. I want him to stand still. I just want him to move his lips because he's a narrator. We'll give that a try. Let's put that in the queue. All right, so that finished. Let's take a look at this now. So that's a lot better, at least the first part. So we could probably use that. It depends. I don't like how he starts tilting his head upwards like that. But for the first couple of seconds, it looks to be good. That might be sufficient. So let's take a look. What are we trying to say? In a small village, a young man named Leo dreamed of adventure. Dreamed of adventure. So let's see. In a small village, a young man named Leo dreamed of adventure. That should be good enough because I can always transition out of it. I only need that very first part. I can basically trim that second part his face where his face gets all weird. In any case, let's go ahead and try the next one. So the next part, we're still on the narrator part. We're going to say one day he decided to explore the enchanted forest nearby. So I want to take a look at this next image here, which is this one. And in this case, this is representing Leo in the back. So I want the main character here, well, the narrator in this case, to again just move his lips, and for the character in the background to sort of just walk slowly. Let's do that. So let's give that a shot. This one's going to be a little interesting. So here we paste this and we're going to say the close-up character stands still and moves his lips. The character in the back walks slowly into the forest. Okay, and let's see what that gives us. All right, so our video is complete. Let's take a look at how it came out. So basically the video is showing that it's zooming in on the narrator, which is fine. And then in the background, we have Leo kind of walking into the forest. He's excited, he's nervous, so he's kind of like a little shaky, which is fine. I think it fits well with the script. You have these two baskets that are hanging from the tree. They're food baskets, which I think is also okay because part of the script was that he was taking food with him. So he was preparing food and leaving the village with food. So I think that's all okay. We can work with this. So let's go back and take a look at what's next. All right, so he packed some food and set off excited and a bit nervous. So this whole part right here can essentially fit well with this one video. We can make that work. Now, the next part is Leo. He's looking at the trees and he says, wow, this place is amazing. I can't wait to see what's inside. So let's give that a shot. We're going to go ahead and open this up. And then we're basically just going to have Leo again just, speaking. So we're going to say the character is excited. He stands still and moves his lips while talking. That's it. While talking, and that's it. Just as simple as that. Because I mean, here in this part of the script, all that's happening is that he just shows some excitement. He's looking at trees. Wow, this place is amazing. So maybe we can even have him look up. I can try regenerating and just, in this case, have him look up. But even if he's not looking up, I think it's sufficient. Okay, we can try that though. So in the meantime, we're going to try again with that same image while that's generating. And I'm going to say the character is looking up at trees. He's standing still and his lips are moving as he talks. So let's try that as well. So we'll try 2 prompts to see which one comes out better, and that's completely fine. You can have more than one video being queued at the same time. It might take a little longer, but in any case, it's good to try more than one prompt, as we've done with Leonardo AI. It's kind of a similar situation, except we're not dealing with images now, we're dealing with videos. Okay, so we also want to do one more with the narrator, where it states, as Leo walked deeper into the forest, he felt a sense of wonder, but he didn't know what challenges lay ahead. So we want the narrator again talking. So this is how you kind of want to start queuing your videos. You can queue more than one and get them going. So we have another one here before we go forward with the narrator with Leo basically also speaking. And again, it's kind of good to try a few of them. And again, this could be a very similar prompt where we can say the character is looking up, okay, at the trees. He's standing still and his lips are moving as he talks. So we're going to try that one as well. Now, as you can see, if I click this, it does say you've reached your limit of 2 simultaneous generations. So you will have to wait until these are done before you generate the next one. So we'll go ahead and wait on that. And in the next video lesson, I'll go through more examples. We'll complete this scene and move on to the next scene and generate more videos.